welcome back to another video. And yeah, I mean 2018 is gone. That's insane. So in this video I am going to be showing you guys my 2019 bullet journal setup and also my January setup and plan with me. And this video is brought to you by Squarespace very kindly. Thank you very much, Squarespace. I will be talking a little bit more about them in a little bit with some updates on my shop as well. So I'm actually using another Leuchttrum 1917 for this year. I wanted to try a different brand, but turns out halfway through the year I'd bought another Leuchttrum, so the exact same brand as my 2018 one, and I wanted to decorate it a little bit as I did with 2018. I put these cute little stickers from Catherine Ungen's store that I got a couple weeks ago. They're so adorable. And on the front I put a little gold star at the top, and then with a Sharpie just wrote out my name. I might be decorating it a little bit more throughout the year, as I always just doodle everywhere all the time, but for now I wanted to keep it very minimalistic and very small. That's kind of the vibe I wanted to go for my bullet journal this year. I feel like last year I let myself go buck wild with the drawings and designs and just go crazy because it was my first full year of doing bullet journaling, but this year I wanted to keep it a more elegant, minimalist style, because I wanted to be a little bit more calm and chill, you know? So with my front decorated, I went in and wrote in my name and my email address in case anyone found my bullet journal. I'm also stamping the inside of the front page with my little stamp that I normally use for my shop, but it's a very, very cute little design, so I wanted to stamp it to kind of mark it as mine. So yeah, I went in and wrote in my name and my contact, if found. And then I just doodled a little moon and some stars, just to fill in that little empty space at the bottom. I was going to make a big drawing / design, but I again wanted to keep it quite simple, and this is just very serene and cute and calm. So that's kind of what my inside looks like. And then it was time to draw out my keys. So I kept the keys pretty much very similar to last year. I just basically changed, instead of doing little dots to describe my tasks, I decided to make little squares because I find it a lot more satisfying ticking out or crossing out a square than just crossing out a dot. I don't know why, it just feels a lot more satisfactory because it is normally what I do with my to-do list, so I thought I'd keep everything cohesive. But yeah, pretty much everything is the same. I do a little circle for an event, some arrows to represent if an event or a task has been rescheduled. I do a little star if something is urgent or a priority. And then of course a little birthday cake for birthdays. And I just drew a little border around it with a bit of a shadow. And because it was looking very plain and sad and out of color, I added some cute little washi tapes around it to decorate it. I've also made it my resolution to make this bullet journal a little bit more crafty and to use some more colors and stuff like that, but sticking in a lot more stuff rather than drawing it out. So with that done, I went in and wrote in my little quote that I always like to write at the beginning of the year to inspire my year. So for this year, I chose this quote by C.S. Lewis that goes, "There are far better things ahead than any we leave behind." And I really, really like this quote because it is really inspiring me to not be so influenced by any bad things that might have happened in 2018, and, to let all the good things that will happen in 2019 happen. And I like it a lot, and it's making me feel very happy and excited for the new year. So I used my calligraphy pens to write those out, and also my little gel pen and my Fineliners from Art and Fly to write in the smaller letters. And then of course, you guys know me, drawing out a bunch of stars and some little sparkles around it, and I think it ended up looking very, very cute. And on the first page, I just kind of wrote in 2019, very simple and minimalistic. so I could start my future log on the next double spread. So my future log, I again kept very, very similar to last year. I think it worked wonderfully. I basically kept all of the months to the left side of the spreads. So then I had a whole section, a whole column on the right side of the page where I could write down any events or important dates throughout the year, so I can have a bit of an overview. And this worked wonders last year, so you know, why change a working formula? I did just make it look a little bit better than last year, let's be real. Always room for improvement in that department. So I kept everything very petite, minimalistic, very clean as well, because you don't want to start off the year messy, because it does get messy over the course of the year, let me tell you. So I wanted to start off as clean and simple as possible to allow me to make all the mistakes I know I'm gonna make. And then I just drew a little cute banner around each month. And I also used my Tombow dual brush pen in light violet or light purple, I think. Yeah, to kind of add a little shading to the days of the week to make them stand out from the actual days of the month. And then I just use a light shade of blue from my Tombow dual brush pens again to kind of draw that little banner at the top. And once I wrote in all the days of the months, I went in with my Sakura brush pen in a different shade of purple to kind of add a little shading behind all these banners, just to make them pop out a little more. And apparently we're going for a little purple vibe here. This was, you know, it was very spontaneous. I didn't really plan out any color schemes for this. I just knew it was going to be pastel, because hi, have you met me? And I just kept on doing it for the rest of the months, and I kind of sped up these clips a little bit more because it's kind of just the same, just on different months. But yeah, I love using these Tombow dual brush pens in the pastel colors to do like little nuances of color, so nothing that stands out too much but makes a little bit of a difference. I love it very much, and I highly recommend. They also don't bleed, so that's always, you know, a huge plus. And after all of that was done for my future log, it was time to go into my New Year's resolutions. Oh yeah, it's that time of the year to think about how you can improve yourself. I actually last year was the first and only year in my life that I've actually completed my resolutions. And not only did I do that, but I completed all of my resolutions, which is something I'm still very shocked about. And I'm really happy and proud of myself that I managed to do that. So I wanted to set some more resolutions for myself this year. And they don't have to be like anything big, like at all. It can even be like something like, I want to save up money to buy this one thing that I've been wanting for a while, which was something that I did last year, and I did actually save up and buy that thing. So it can be very small things like that. So while I write out my resolutions, I think it's a really good time to talk to you guys about Squarespace. As you guys may know, I have changed my shop over to Squarespace because they have such an amazing storefront and templates and everything, and their customer service is absolutely amazing. So for a person like me that knows virtually nothing about web design, that is so important for me, because if I do come across any troubles, Squarespace are there to help me. They've got such easy customizable options that I had no problem in setting up my shop from scratch on Squarespace. My shop will be open in about 2 weeks, so in the new year, so stay tuned for that. And while I kind of keep on fixing and tweaking my shop, as I always do, I am here to let you know that Squarespace is also giving away 10% to anyone that wants to try out Squarespace. So if you guys want to try out your own, go to squarespace.com to start your free trial, and then once you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/pipa to get 10% off your first purchase. Honestly guys, I really recommend Squarespace. I think they're the best option right now, considering Ticktail has closed down, and for anyone looking for a good storefront, Squarespace is top notch in my opinion. So while I was doing that, I wrote down some of my resolutions. I will probably be coming up with some new ones, to be honest, but so far those are the ones I have, and I colored in those little doodles of some roses. And I went on to my next spread, which was my films, shows, and books I want to read and watch this year. I actually did manage to get through most of my lists from last year, which is very shocking, considering I barely have time, but I normally have stuff playing on in the background while I work, which is how I get to watch all these movies and shows. But one of my resolutions for this year is to read more books, because last year I read maybe 2 books, and that is a very, very low number. And I want to read some more this year, so I am setting myself that as a resolution. Yeah, then I basically just fill in those empty spaces with my lists for this year. And then my next double spread is my YouTube ideas and planner. I, again, last year had, I want to say like 4 or 5 different pages along the year that I had to keep making with all my YouTube ideas, because I kept filling them in and then running out of space and then completing those and then having to have new pages. So instead of having a single spread like last year, I'm starting off immediately with 4 columns in a double spread. So this way, hopefully I won't run out of space and I can keep all of my YouTube ideas in one spread rather than having to flick through all my different pages from last year. So hopefully this will work out a bit better in terms of keeping all my ideas in the same place. And to make those little columns, I just picked out my Crayola Supertip that I used for the title and just made 2 little lines, and that's it. And then I kind of decorated it with some light bulbs coming down from the top, and I'm going to go into detail with those for my January spread. So the last spread that I did here is just some random bits and bobs, so a list of all my monthly subscriptions and bills, so I have them all in the same place, which kind of just helps me figure out what monies are going to come out at the end or at the beginning of every month. It's also got some page spread ideas that I might want to do in the future, so like a traveling bucket list or a swatch page for my washi tapes. And then the last little thing at the bottom there is some animation ideas, because I've got a bunch of animations that I want to be doing in my free time this year, because that's again one of my resolutions, is to do more animation in my free time and not just uni work. So this is where I'm going to be putting all my ideas. And then to fill in that little space over there, I kind of just put this really, really funny picture of me and my dog, because I really like it, and decorated the page a bit with some washi tape. And again, everything that I use is going to be in the description below as per usual, guys, so if you are interested in any of these materials, they will be down there. So, with all this done, I'm just going to give you guys a very small rundown and flip through of my 2019 setup before we head on into the January plan with me. I'm very happy with how this turned out. It's all looking very minimalistic and simple and how I wanted it to look, and I think this is going to be a very organized year, and I'm very excited. So, with all that said and done, it is time to do my January plan with me. So, for January, the first month of the year, I wanted it to be, a theme that kind of represented a fresh start, bright new start, and I decided to go for some little light bulbs as my theme. I don't really know why this came about or how, but it felt right, so I just roll with it. And I basically just wrote out January in cursive, and then I drew out some little light bulbs just kind of hanging down from the title. And I'm really happy with how this title turned out. It looks very cute. I get really happy when stuff in the beginning of my notebooks looks good, because I feel like it sets the tone for the rest of it. So I don't know if anyone else out there is like this, but if the first couple pages are nice, I feel like it sets the tone for the rest of the pages. So I was a little bit of a perfectionist in these first couple pages. So then I'm using my Sakura brush pen to add a little shadow in this kind of orangey yellow shade that is very, very pretty. And for my January plan with me, I'm mainly using this pen, my Crayola Supertip in a light, but not the lightest yellow. And then of course my Tombow dual brush pen in this bright yellow that is a little bit more see-through, I guess. So I've got 3 different shades of yellow that I can kind of go back and forth with. So then again, I wrote in the days of the month just at the bottom there to have like a bit of an overview, and I went in with my Crayola Supertip to add a little bit of a shading to the days of the week, and that was it for my first title page of January. And with that done, it was time to go into my monthly spread. Yay! So I am using my Crayola Supertip just to write out January at the top to make it really pop, being this really nice bright yellow, and then using my Fineliner to add a little line where the shadow would hit on each letter. I think it's a really cute new style that I'm trying to do with my titles, and I really like it. It makes it more colorful, and I enjoy it very much. So then I use my Crayola Supertip again to draw out these lines that basically represent all the days of the month, and these are going to be basically where I write the day of the month and any like really important event that's happening that day with priority. So then I went in with my Fineliner from Art and Fly and just lined it all up to make the boxes. And for anyone wondering, each box is 5 by 5 squares, and that's normally what I do every month for my monthly spread. I feel it always fits. There's never a problem. And then of course I just decorated that top area with some light bulbs. I think it ended up looking very cute and very like, if anyone in Portugal knows the holiday São João, it kind of reminds me a lot of that for some reason. Don't ask me why, but it just gives off that vibe. So yeah, I just wrote in my monthly goals section and my YouTube planner just there at the bottom, and just decorated it, the rest with some little sparkles and some stars, and that was literally it for my monthly spread. So for my habit tracker, you guys know I've been loving to do my habits in the most painful way possible, which is writing out the month for every single habit. But it does get me to do the tasks and the habits, so if it works, I'm gonna keep doing it, no matter how long it takes me to do it at the beginning of the month. I've actually been staying really on track with my habits, and I have some new habits this year that I want to implement, so like reading a little bit every night. That's the new habit that I kind of implemented here. I spared you guys the boredom of watching me write out the days of the month over and over again, and did some magic. So yeah, I'm just also showing you guys here how it would look like with my Crayola Supertip, filling in the days that I succeed at these habits. And with that done, I went over to my expense tracker, which, as you guys know, is always the same. I literally never change it, and I haven't been running out of space. I just had enough space for my last 2 months, but since I'm going home for Christmas, at least the first week, I hope I won't have to spend much money. Probably because I'll be in a food coma for the whole time, hopefully. So with those done, I went in for the first week of January, and it actually feels just weird just making this spread and seeing that it's already 2019. It's actually ridiculous, but I did it nonetheless, and I'm just going to go with it. So I decided to do this kind of new spread style that I've been doing for the past 2 weeks, I think, in my December spread, which is writing out the days of the week in cursive using my Crayola Supertip. I think it looks really cute, and yeah, I just write them like this in alternating locations, right and left, and then I use, again, the little trick that I've been doing with my Fineliner and adding a little bit of a shadow on one of the sides of the letters, and I think it gives off such a nice vibe. I really like this new style of weekly spreads that I've been doing, and it gives me a little empty space to have all of my own weekly goals. The one thing that I do not like about this spread is that it doesn't give me the option to separate my events from my tasks, which you guys know I love doing, but I guess I'm gonna suck it up just for the aesthetic, because I'm basic like that. So yeah, I blacked out a little circle next to every day of the week so I could then go in with my gel pen from Signo Uniball to fill in the days of the week. And that was pretty much it for the weekly spread. I left out a bunch of pages for the rest of the weeks for January and did my YouTube and life planner at the end. And because for January I'm going to already have some of the videos scheduled and everything, I didn't think I needed a double spread. And also, thank you again very much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. We are nearing the end of this video, this very long video. With this spread, it marks the end of my January spread, and I just went back and added a bunch of little details that I felt made the spreads look a bit more cute. So yeah, that was pretty much it for January, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching me fill out my fresh new bullet journal that smells new and amazing. I'm really happy with how my spreads came out. They're bringing me a lot of inspiration for the new year. I hope they brought you some inspiration for the new year. I hope everyone has a very amazing New Year's Eve. Be safe, have fun, and I'll see you all in the new year. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.